Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Panzer Athletic Center for tonight's NCAA Division III and New Jersey Athletic Conference matchup. Women's volleyball matchup between Ramapo and Montclair State University Redhawks. Montclair State New Jersey Athletic Conference and NCAA promoted sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting participants and officials in the positive manner. Profane, racial, sexist, and big comments related to the actions are towards student athletes, coaches, officials, key representatives of the fan, will not be tolerated here for our competition. Here tonight, starting lineup is first for the Roadrunners. A freshman opposite side hitter from German City, Jersey, number 8, Scarlett Miller. A senior setter from Stuttgart, Germany, number 10, Kate Bishop. A freshman middle blocker from Marshall, New Jersey, number 14, Emilio Wisniewski. A freshman outside hitter from University of Jersey, number 17, Asia Barr. A freshman outside hitter from Wayne, New Jersey, number 21, Valentina Hamlin. A sophomore middle blocker from Williamstown, New Jersey, number 25, Jasmine Rowley. And at the barrel, a sophomore from Westminster, New Jersey, number 1, Emma Garcia. And a freshman from Garfield, New Jersey, number 5, Emily Capellet. And post coach by our coach and he's assisted by Rizzo James. And now, here's the starting lineup for your Redhawks. A freshman setter, Crystal Hodge Washington, number 3, Lucy Cornelius. A sophomore outside hitter defensive specialist from Sewell, New Jersey, number 4, Brenda Pizza. A sophomore middle blocker from Langston, Pennsylvania, number 8, Brianna Craig. A senior middle blocker from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, number 14, Lily Thomas. A sophomore outside hitter from Parker, Colorado, number 16, Cameron Hughes. A junior middle hitter, right side hitter from Park, New Jersey, number 33, Sylvia DeCosio. And at the barrel, a senior from Lake Lake, Florida, number 6, Anna Hatcher. Soccer students go play balls to a TV system by Megan Carter, Rebecca McMaster, Liz Sangillo, and Kate Monahan. It is a time to please rise to the table and remove your hands as you honor Americans with the flag of our national anthem.
We welcome you to the Panzer Athletic Center on this Tuesday evening. Welcome to the Red Hawk Sports Network. Tonight, an NJAC volleyball matchup. The Ramapo Roadrunners are in town to face the home Montclair State University Red Hawks. Luke Sirianni joined alongside CJ Staniak on the broadcast here. We welcome you once again. And CJ, two teams that are really solid in conference play.
That's right. It's been a terrific couple of years. A terrific year for both of these teams here in the NJAC. A very, very interesting matchup and one that could potentially decide future seeding for the NJAC tournament. Montclair State and Ramapo 3-1 and 3-2 apiece. Montclair State 3-2 and technically a half game behind the Roadrunners. This will be an interesting test here for Montclair State. They don't have any wins against anybody ahead of them in NJAC play, but they have taken care of business below them. They've done a good job in recent weeks and now up to 19-4 on the season, especially in out of conference. Today going to be a test against a talented Ramapo team.
Looking in at these two programs, Montclair State 15-5, or that's actually Ramapo Roadrunners, 15-5 overall. They do have a losing record on the road though, CJ, 3-4, but 3-1 in NJAC play. And for Montclair State, 19-4, 12-0 at home. I keep asking myself, when are they going to lose a home match? They have yet to do so in 3-2 in NJAC play, although today could be their biggest test of the season here at home.
You're absolutely right. They had a super impressive win against Stockton earlier in the year, but here against Ramapo, the stakes high as well. Both teams with plenty to prove in this match.
Katie Bishop ready to kick us off here as the Ramapo Roadrunners will put us underway, and a service error right off the bat puts Ramapo ahead.
Surprising, you don't see it a ton, but Ramapo, one of the better serving teams here in the NJAC. An early error for them. Obviously, with both of these teams going to want to try to limit those as much as possible today.
Serve number 2 up in the air, and that one will go out of play off the hands of Brianna Craig. So now Ramapo equalize 1-1. On the serve now, Asia Akar, the outside hitter, freshman from Lyndhurst, New Jersey, 5th in NJAC kills, 260 to her name. Cameron Muse over the top, and she gets the kill. And there she is, the star who's been outstanding these past few years.
You just mentioned 2 of the better hitters in this entire conference, Luke, with Akar and Muse. Last year, the freshman phenom was Muse, now into her sophomore season. This year in the NJAC, Akar taking the conference by storm.
Serve over the top from Akar, blocked at the net by Cornelius. Dug out by Casey Traska. Batista over the top and off the hands of Scarlett Melick. So another Red Hawk point, 3-1.
And the wealth being spread between Muse and Bautista. Last year, almost exclusively Muse at the net. This year, Batista getting a lot of work, and that time stepping up from the middle to make that hit.
Dug out by Hatcher. Cornelius sets for Craig, who fires. Met up at the net. Cornelius once again tried to set, and a little bit of a miscommunication. Everybody else on the Red Hawk court just froze.
Really well defended by Ramapo to be able to make that happen. Brianna Craig still leading the NJAC in hitting percentage. She's done it pretty much all year long, and they get an early block on her, which is huge. From there, scrambling to make something happen, and Craig and Cornelius, as you said, got their wires crossed a little bit.
3-2 in set number 1 as we see Alyssa Edmond on the serve. Bryn Batista couldn't dig it out that time, and now Ramapo tied it all up at 3.
Man, that is a laser from Edmond, and Batista not enough time to react as she tried to get down from the shoestrings and make that play.
3-3. Edmond begins the play again. Hatcher. Cornelius, the fake set, and then just taps it over the net has been her signature move all season long.
Yeah, it's maybe one of the greater offensive additions that Montclair State's seen this year with Cornelius. Having the setter who can also attack at the net has done wonders for them, and you see plays like that. We obviously know she's terrific setting up her teammates, but she can score herself when called upon.
Melick over the top. Muse will dig it out. Cornelius cross court to Batista, who just got it inside for the point. 5-3 in set number 1. As we see Cameron Muse, as CJ mentioned, one of the top players as well, right above Akar in kills in the NJAC, 274th in the conference. Cornelius again finds Batista. Dug out nicely by Akar. Bishop swings it. Cornelius tips it in the air. Hatcher sets for Batista. We are still alive. Off the fingertips, and Traska with the efforts to keep it alive, but she couldn't do so.
Valentina Palin that time getting involved, and there's one of the other big hitters for Ramapo. Done a really nice job this year, and a nice swing from her.
Looking at these 2 programs coming off a tri-match, actually. Red Hawks had 2 matches on Saturday. 2 wins, 2 matches. Moravian, they won 3-2 on sets, and then Misericordia University with a clean 3-0 sweep. And for the Roadrunners, 3-0 win versus Lehman College. So both teams really looking to keep the win streak going here.
You're right, and Montclair State, I think they got a little bit of a shock on Saturday afternoon in that Moravian match, going 5 sets, able to pull that out, and nice work from them to make sure they secure the W. They have been dominant this year in out-of-conference play. A lot of the reason for their success coming into NJAC play. Now 19-4 on the year despite 3-2 in the NJAC.
Couple Red Hawks into the game. Newhouse is one of them. As we see Lily Thomas there strike, and we want to talk about the dominance in the front of the net this year. It's really, if you look at really Sophia DeProfio and Lily Thomas, and then you have Lucy Cornelius there to kind of keep things even. They are a strong group up front.
Yeah, and Lily Thomas, we know her for her defensive work, but this year has just gotten more and more involved on the offensive attacking side of things. As you see Cornelius there, easy tap down as well. Easy
point for Cornelius, her second kill of the day. And a little discussion here between the referee and Ramapo Roadrunners for Lucy Cornelius. She's already earned NJAC Rookie of the Week, is the assist leader by a mile on this team with 720, second in the NJAC. And as you mentioned, CJ, an incredible creator in the middle that just floats all around.
We may be looking at the top two candidates for the NJAC Rookie of the Year this year with volleyball, with Akar on one side and Cornelius on the other. And obviously with the kills and the production, Akar, you have to look at her statistics. But as far as impact, I don't know if there's any freshman more impactful than Cornelius in the middle for Montclair State.
And to your point, they are the two most talented, and it will be a nice race. Akar's from New Jersey. She's from Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Cornelius comes all the way from Washington, the state. It's crazy to come across country, but she's been able to really see the court and dominate and be one of the top players. And for Coach Stawinski, yet another piece that he will have for probably 3 more years after this one.
This core, a lot of this core that's together for this Montclair State team that got back to the playoffs last year, it felt like the turning of a page, a new chapter. They're going to have this team together and this personnel, this group for another 3 years, including this one right here. You talk about some of the freshmen that were impactful last year. Their goal is an NJAC championship, and they brought in a lot of young talent along the way, especially these last 2 years. They've gone out of state. They went out of state to get Muse. They went out of state to get Cornelius as well. Good job on the recruiting cycle from Coach Stawinski. He's really built a really special group here.
An amazing program. They've really lost so many players as well. Looking back at last year and the year before, the Profio into the game, and she thinks there was a fingertip on that one, and the main referee says Ramapo points. So now 10-7 lead for Montclair State here in set number 1. As we see Jasmine Roll serve, and that'll be a service error. A little too strong on that one.
A lot of errors right now from Ramapo, not doing themselves a lot of favors against the Montclair State team that is going to be very aggressive at the net. Can't even get it set up to begin with that serve receive as well. They are a lot of self-inflicted wounds right now here in this first set for Ramapo.
That was Claudia Cosme on the attempted dig, which ended up going out of bounds, 12-7. Now Batista on the serve. In the air, Bishop sets. Akar fires, and again, too strong. Right now, the Roadrunners, just way too many errors.
Yeah, and it's all been in the hitting, whether it be in the service game, they haven't been clean. A lot of serves going long and a lot of swings going long just in general once they've gotten to the net.
Over the top of the net, and that time too far. Emma Hatcher to keep alive. So Ramapo finally grabbed one back. You got to wonder when they're going to use their first time out. I think that point there could have saved that first stoppage.
Yeah, I think that lead becomes a 7-point one, and you get the swing the other way with the Montclair State point. You want to talk it over, see if they can get a run.
Thomas is met at the net. The Profio will set. Muse taps it over. Bug out in the air. Bishop sets. Akar cross court, and she gets the kill through the hands of Lily Thomas and Sophia DeProfrio. 2 players that are not easy to pass by up front.
No, she went right at the barricade with Thomas and DeProfio, able to burst right through, kind of put it right in between them, and drops down for a point.
Serve there by Katie Bishop, who, speaking of traveling far, is from Stuttgart, Germany. So I talked about Washington State to New Jersey. How about Europe to the United States? Very, very interesting. And talked about the star she really is. 585 assists in the NJAC conference.
We talked about that state recruiting. We didn't talk about the international jump.
You don't see it too much in volleyball. In men's and women's soccer, you really do see the international aspect of it, as the Redhawks just keep the foot on the gas here. 15-9.
And the right person right now in the service game with Emma Hatcher to try to add on to this. One of the better in the service game of the entire NJAC.
We talked about, younger players. Emma Hatcher is one who has been around the block here at Montclair State. She's in her senior year from Florida, and again, she's been around a lot of talented players that have now moved on from their volleyball and academic careers, and she's learned a lot. And now these young players, I think, can lean on her for some advice for the future, as That was hit a little bit too far. Cornelius couldn't get high enough to just block it at the net. Now a 4-point lead for Montclair State.
And here's that little run from Ramapo. Montclair State, they are prone to letting things unravel a couple of points at a time. And I was going to say, going against a good serving group too in Ramapo, it can start to exacerbate that, but yet another service error from them. Not doing themselves any favors.
As great as Asia Akar is, she has 110 errors on the season. I mean, that's what happens as well when your pivotal players get a lot of touches on the ball, but for a star player like that, that's still a number that is way too high. Although last week she did get NJAC Player of the Week, so of course got to give her flowers as well and credit to that. But right now, Ramapo doing an okay job, 16-12. And they are just holding their ground and just hanging on, really. Hatcher digs it out. Cornelius sets it up. Craig tries to hit, and it ricochets off the hands of Lucy Cornelius and goes out of play. What have you seen so far, CJ, here at set number 1?
Yeah, well, I see Ramapo getting a little bit more settled in with these last few points, especially at the net as well. They've defended very, very well with Montclair State. Without the errors, I wonder where this set would be right now.
Cameron Muse with the slam down, and that's her signature move. Cross court, she paints the line, and that time keeping it in bounds. 17-13, Montclair State now just 8 points away.
Not really much of a chance to be able to defend that.
Muse on the serve again. A little too strong on the result, and they're going to call a net violation. So point goes in favor of Montclair State. For Cameron Muse, 23 combined kills in the past weekend's matchup in that tri-match that I mentioned earlier. Akar fires. Hatcher with an amazing dig. Cornelius keeps it alive. And now Batista will send it over. Akar diving and digs and keeps it alive. What a rally we have here. Bishop sets. And that time Hatcher couldn't get to it, but that's what you like to see right there. Competitive volleyball.
Competitive volleyball is absolutely right. And we're going to see throughout the day both of these teams very impressive at extending rallies. Montclair State, we've talked about plenty of their impactful players. Emma Hatcher, for example, but Ramapo on the other side can do just the same thing with somebody like Emma Garcia in the middle. We saw Akar there with a terrific dig to keep that alive, and ultimately the Roadrunners get the point.
Here's Wendy Palawachi on the serve. Bautista strikes, and that time way too strong. I've seen a lot of attacking errors today so far, and I think that's been the main thing I could really circle if you want to point something out that both teams haven't done too well. Leading these two teams, Coach Eddie Stawinski in his 15th season and Tyler Minta in his 2nd season. Batista trying to get over the net, and she hits it right into it. Roadrunners now gaining some momentum, 18-16, as Coach Stawinski will call a timeout. And doesn't seem too happy with it, based on the lead you once had earlier.
Well, we wondered when the first timeout would come, and we thought it would come from the decision of Tyler Quinta and the Ramapo Roadrunners. Instead, they hang on, they power through the rut that they were in terms of service errors and really just unenforced errors from Montclair State. Instead, we flip it around, they get a nice run, serving the ball well, and stringing a run together, now only trailed by 2 points. Coach Stawinski ends up having to be the one that takes that timeout.
Looking at this matchup so far, Akar and Palin lead the court in kills, as well as Cameron Muse. They're all tied at 3, but CJ said it perfectly before. The wealth is really spread around. 2 kills for Cornelius, Bautista with 2, Thomas has 1. But again, you look at errors. I mean, Montclair State 4 errors to Ramapo's 2. It's been really even. And the last few points, Ramapo has went on a solid run here just to really keep the first set close. And looking at these two teams, this is kind of what I expected going into tonight's matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be one that comes down to the wire here. Do not be surprised at all. I personally would be shocked to see a straight sets win either way. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Something that I want to watch in particular is the end of sets. That's a place where Montclair State has struggled a little bit throughout this season and almost got hurt over the weekend against Moravian late in sets. They ended up losing the race to 25 in a couple of situations where they thought they could have won it. Tonight they'll have to be sharper.
There were a lot of, to your point, there were a lot of instances in the season they could have gotten an easy sweep, and you're right at the end they just can't get their job done on the sweep. Of course, that's not realistic expectations to sweep every team, but you're right, late in the sets you see them struggle at times as a car is met up at the net by Craig, and that time just easily tipping it over the net. Jasmine Roll, however, they did call a violation.
I guess they're gonna give that point to the Redhawks, but still very impressed with the composure of the Roadrunners right now defensively. Emma Garcia, who just subbed out of the game for the other libero, Emily Tapali, did a great job of handling a Muse spike.
19-16 as a diving Muse, and Newhouse couldn't get to it. And now Ramapo getting a little bit closer. Coach Stawinski has just been rapidly subbing players, trying to find the right group on the court right now. Cornelius cross court, Batista dug out. A car over the top, Batista digs. Cornelius taps it over. Newhouse. Raska with the dig there. Cornelius just sends it over the top, and another nice rally. A car again. Redhawks are not giving up, and neither are the Roadrunners. Batista. Maybe the longest rally we've seen tonight. A car once again. Hatcher keeps it alive. Batista resets and finds Muse off the fist of Cornelius, and Batista saves.
This is unbelievable.
Lily Thomas strikes, and what a save there. It remains alive. Bishop dives. And Thomas again. I should have set a timer before this one. Batista finally puts it to an end, 20-17. Had to be a 2-minute rally.
My goodness.
Wow.
And they get the rally to swing their way, more importantly. That feels like one that had a lot of momentum.
That was awesome.
Hindering either way, whoever got that point in good position for the rest of this set.
20-17. I'm sure a lot of energy lost after that rally as Jasmine Roll just hits it too far outside.
Immediately following that long rally, Montclair State and Coach Eddie Stawinski bringing size into the game with Sophia DeProfio. They haven't had a ton of presence at the net over these last few points. It was Cornelius, Thomas, and Batista up on that front line, and Ramapo trying to exploit that. Redhawks get the point and then the substitution.
That time a little bit of a miss hit there from the libero, Emily Tapale. So now Redhawks 3 points away, as we'll see a quick timeout from Tyler Quinta. 3 points away from taking set number one, CJ. It's been a battle, but we've seen some amazing plays where 1 point is extended to a minute or two at a time, but so far Redhawks still on top.
Yeah, and those last couple of points, you saw that snowball effect in a tight set. You take any momentum that you can get, try to run with it. We get that long rally, and while we were mesmerized watching it go back and forth for what felt like a minute, maybe 90 seconds, felt like an hour, you get on the other side of that such a big swing, and Ramapo's been hanging in. They made Montclair State call a timeout, reset, reconfigure, but coming off of that, since then we've seen Montclair State handle things and follow it up with 2 strong points to get this back to a 5-point deficit for the Roadrunners, who have been fighting to stay in the set the entire way.
They have fought, and I mean, set number one is really the most crucial. The Redhawks always seem to take set number one, even when they lose. And for Ramapo, I'm sure they would love to set Montclair off balance early on, and that's really how you can control the rest of the match here. Looking at the teams in NJAC play, though, the Redhawks and Montclair State and Ramapo, excuse me, are 3rd and 4th here in the NJAC Conference. Rowan, 1st place, undefeated in conference play. Kane right behind, and then, as mentioned, Ramapo and the Redhawks, 3 and 4. It's really close, and this is really a big matchup if you're thinking about ahead of time, seeding, playoffs.
There are big implications on the heels of this one. Only 3 matches left in conference play, including this one for Montclair State. I believe the Roadrunners have 3 more after this. But we're coming down to the wire here.
Yeah, Redhawks have played 23 matches, and The Roadrunners 20. As Batista gets that one to fall off the fingertips of Roll. And now the Redhawks gaining momentum, just 2 points away, 23-18 here in set number 1.
Already the 4th kill for Batista.
And Batista, 22 kills in her last 2 matches and over 200 kills on this team so far, as a car just hyped up the Roadrunners a little bit more and kept them alive. Much needed point there. Now you're down by 4. Hatcher digs, finds Cornelius, DeProfio, taps it over, second time's the charm. Now 1 point away from set number 1, 24-19.
This is the part that I had to keep an eye out for, this end of set scenario. Montclair State right now handling it with ease, even after Ramapo gets a point there to try to stack some momentum back their own way.
Hatcher serves, Bishop keeps it alive. It's tipped over the last second by Melik. Hatcher, Cameron Muse gets it to fall, and that is the set. 25-19, Redhawks up 1-0 so far. A lot more volleyball to play, but Montclair State that time grabbing the first one.
And that's how you jump out and make a statement. You mentioned at home court, Montclair State not lost yet this year. They're going against a Ramapo team that's having an uptick in success this season. They're coming on the road, looking to make a statement, really. I mean, they've beaten the teams that they were supposed to, lost to the teams that they're not really supposed to beat. But this is an opportunity and a match where you can see either way. I think both Montclair State and the Roadrunners are still looking to try to burst through into that upper echelon of volleyball programs here in the NJAC. And as we mentioned, right now sitting at 3rd and 4th in the standings. First round bye still on the table. Montclair State and Ramapo both still have Kane to play. Unlikely that either would catch Rowan, but I mean, if you wanted to still make a push for a number 2 seed or even just a home match first round in the NJAC tournament, this is a big game where things can go your way and you want to finish above 500. Montclair State, for as successful of a year as they've had, 19 wins. They've got the most wins out of anybody in the conference for the entire season, but in conference play, they've hit a little bit of a speed bump, and this could be an opportunity for them. Taking that first set, especially at home, will go a long way.
And credit to Ramapo as well. They've been able to keep set number 1 close, which a lot, as you know, CJ, a lot of teams have not been able to do so. Usually the Redhawks blow out the team in the first set, and then that team's on their heels the whole time. But Ramapo right now does have a lot of positives to look at. Got to go back to those errors. I think that's the part I think that they really messed up on. Although Montclair also pretty much had the same amount of errors, 4 apiece. I think Ramapo was a little more sloppy overall, which really hurt them.
There's one difference for me that I'm looking at, and it's the aces and service errors department. Montclair State, 4 aces, 1 service error. Ramapo, that number's flipped. 1 ace, 4 service errors, and those errors were very early on in the service game as well. I want to say before Montclair State even had 10 or 15 points, we were looking at 4 service errors for the Roadrunners. That's no way to help yourself, no way to keep yourself in a match or in a set, and they're going to have to overcome those errors. They did a good job of cleaning things up toward the end, but the service game, a huge difference there in that first set.
You're right, and Montclair's largest lead was 13-6, and that was when, to your point, CJ, those service errors were piling up. The Roadrunners did a great job, though. They came back, they shrugged off some of their mistakes, but it might have been a little too late. So now, in set number 2, we see the Roadrunners take the court, and both teams switch sides and benches. Want to see what the Roadrunners could do here to try to respond.
Only 1 total block in that entire first set, Luke, and that'll be an interesting matchup to see. I mean, I think we can tell that neither one of these teams among the best in the NJAC in terms of height, in terms of net presence and getting blocks, but it's really a shock that we haven't seen at least a single one come from Montclair State side. They're really happy to have won a set without notching one of those.
You're right, there hasn't really been much in the front of the nets, too much, compared to what we normally see. So now ready for set number 2 again. Set number 1, 25-19, so the Redhawks are up 1-0. First of 3 sets, of course, best of 5. And a huge conference matchup. Really, you're right, playoff implications on the line, and if anybody wants to catch Rowan, tonight's the night to really take the match.
A shock to me has been William Patterson this year, 1-3 in conference play. Their only conference win is over Montclair State, and it was in straight sets. A big shock for the reigning NJAC champions. They have not had the same kind of year that they were hoping to.
Akar starts set number 2 right and grabs the first point for the Roadrunners. She's been on fire lately. 5th kill of the night.
And terrific vertical as well. She gets way above the net. Listed at 5'9". They're playing like 6 foot.
That time too far from Cameron Muse. And the Redhawks start a little bit sloppy. Best case scenario start for the Roadrunners. Now Katie Bishop deep and ready to serve. Cornelius Batista off the fingertips. Red Hawk point. They needed it.
That's just excellent from Batista on the serve receive and then making her way back toward the net where Cornelius found her.
Batista that time finding the open spot right in the middle of all 6 Roadrunners. All tied up at 2 in set number 2. Akar. Batista keeps it alive. Cornelius sets up in the air. Lily Thomas over the top and a diving. Valentina Palin couldn't keep it alive. Montclair now in their first lead of set number 2, 3-2.
Redhawks just finding opening after opening right now.
3 consecutive points for Montclair State. As we're stopped for just a quick moment.
Not sure what about.
Now play is resumed. Almost.
We've seen some of these long delays here, especially in this venue. Officials want to make sure they get everything correct. First talk to Tyler Quinta, now talking to Eddie Stawinski. Making sure we're all good. And by the way, Tyler Quinta, I do think I should mention this, a 2023 graduate of Sacred Heart University. Talk about someone who's young here on the college scene, an up-and-comer. Doing a really nice job rebuilding this Rowan program, this Ramapo program that's looking to reclaim what they had 2 years ago. And Jack Crown here in volleyball. Last year a bit of a rebuilding year, but doing a nice job. Going up against one of the longest tenured coaches in the entire conference, though, today. And Eduardo Stawinski, 15th season.
Well, you can see the difference there in the coaching experience, but the way Tyler Quinta has molded this team, you would think by year 15 he will be close to what Stawinski has built, and you only learn and get better as time goes on. So now Coach Stawinski getting an explanation for the stoppage. We apologize for the delay. Montclair won set number 1, 25-19. And both teams are on a winning streak. Redhawks 2-match winning streak, and Ramapo Roadrunners on a 1-match winning streak.
This will be a fascinating next couple of games to find out what kind of team Ramapo really is. We mentioned a big year for them right now, but they've got Montclair State tonight. In 2 days, they'll play Kane, another very strong program, and right now 3-1 in the conference. The following Tuesday, they'll play William Patterson, who we mentioned, coming off an NJAC title, beat Montclair State in 3 sets, which was, looking back now, very surprising. Then they've got Stockton, the other NJAC finalist last season, and that rounds out their NJAC schedule. We can say it time and time again, regardless of the successful year we've had right now, but as we come down to the end and toward NJAC tournament time, these next few games will really kind of show what's in store for them and what their ceiling is in a pretty tough conference to win volleyball matches in.
I'm looking forward to that William Patterson Ramapo matchup for sure, and we'll see how today's matchup goes, but then I want to really watch how Ramapo does versus William Patterson. Very surprising result, as you mentioned, to get Montclair the way that they did, as we're finally back underway and resumes. Tipped over the top, Cameron Muse saves, Thomas taps it back in the air, and then Lily Thomas sends it over the top. A car met at the net. Cameron Muse got the best of that one. And some bodies flying around.
A bit of a wild scramble for both teams there. Didn't get their set offenses the way that they would have liked to. Montclair State happy to get out of that with a point.
Bishop to Scarlett Melick. Cameron Muse met at the net by a car. It's a matchup to watch out for as we continue. Melick again blocked. And a net violation, I believe. 5-2 Ramapo. Actually, 4-2 Ramapo. They just changed it.
And no point being awarded right there.
Just a stoppage of play. And a point will be awarded there. On the serve.
Look at that.
Rin Batista.
Batista, a couple of those on this serving run in particular. There was about a 5-minute delay in between those aces, but doing a great job at finding the openings right now.
Hatcher keeps it alive. Cornelius serves up to Profio. Again, just too strong on it. For Sophia de Profio, 1 kill tonight. She has struggled to locate her spikes.
Still, that was from a really tough angle, receiving it from Cornelius. Had to kind of go from behind her almost. Tough angle to make that happen.
Thomas over the top, and that one falls. 6-3, the double Ramapo score to Montclair here in set number 2. And that one too far. You saw a car duck on that one, knew that it was going to go out of play.
Really good read against the number 2 ranked server in the NJAC in terms of service aces per set. Didn't land too far beyond that end line.
Here's Edmond on the serve. Cornelius in the air. Cameron Muse tried to give and go, and that time Melick on the defense. The Roadrunners defense right now has been really strong to come out of the gate here in set 2.
The freshmen in particular have been very, very impressive. A car and then Melick as well, making things happen. That's a big block from her, and she was fired up.
Montclair State tried again, that time sliding. Bishop keeps it alive. Finally, some defense there. Sophia de Profio keeps that one on the other side of the net, 7-5. A lot of subs going on from both sides. Ramapo just rapidly changing their lines.
Profio then comes out for Montclair State as well, as Casey Traska comes in.
Roll over the top. Traska saves. Diving Cornelius keeps it alive. Now Ramapo back on the attack. And I think there was not a fingertip, actually. It just rolls out of bounds. That was Valentina Palin. Second on the team in kills and coming back to really her neck of the woods. She's from Wayne, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's another freshman, 5'7", plays much bigger than her frame. A little bit errant that time, but has had a good match so far.
Muse fires and strikes and hits once again.
Listen, we haven't seen the All-American production like we saw last year and the numbers and the kills, but Cameron Muse coming off of a knee injury last season that had to get cleaned up is starting to find a little bit of that footing again, and you can just see the ball explode off of her hand off that last spike. Good response, though, from the Roadrunners.
A couple times, like the one we just saw, really the velocity on the spike, it's just, it's really tough to dig it out, even if you are in the right spot. So now 9-6. Here's Wendy Palawachi. Use again, and that time too strong, although I didn't think she hit it that hard.
Redhawks didn't necessarily get to their spot there. Serve receiver just a little bit off, and as a result, you see the shot taken from a little bit behind. Not able to get that same trajectory on it, leaves it a little bit long.
Hatcher calls everybody off and serves up Cameron Muse. Bishop. Palin dug out by Batista. And that time, too strong on the dig, an easy hit down from Katie Bishop.
Bishop, super surgical with the way that she plays, and you can see it in the service game as a setter as well, but just looks for any opening that she can find. And that time taking what's being given to her.
Muse fires, met by Roll. I think another violation.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Muse, who stepped over as she came down on the attempt. The Hawks going to try and sort it out. Just came in a little bit too hot. Good job by Ramapo at the net, making sure that she can't get through. Everything's been through Muse offensively here in the second set for the Redhawks.
All tied up at 9 in set number 2. And now the Redhawks back into the lead. Brianna Craig with the strike, third on the team in kills. It has the best hitting percentage in the NJAC, .398. Another player who's in her sophomore year and been a really strong player for this program. That time Traska couldn't keep it alive. Ramapo matching Montclair's energy. Got to give it to them.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and no big runs aside from the Redhawks, about 5 points in the beginning of this set to take a lead, but since then, really been back and forth on the seesaw, and now locked at 10.
Easy tap down from Jasmine Roll. She's so tall, she barely has to jump in front of the net.
Yeah, Jasmine Roll going to be one of the tallest players at 6 foot. Tallest on the Ramapo roster by a wide margin. And you can see her filling up the middle, doing a good job defensively for much of today, and then obviously you see the tap down when necessary too.
So yeah, 9-9, 10-10, and now the score reads 11-11 as Newhouse begins to play. Bishop in the air, Newhouse saves it. Cornelius cross court to Batista, dug out amazingly by Palawachi. And then too strong on that one. Redhawks back in the lead. By far the most even stretch of points we've seen today, even in set number 1.
Ramapo's still doing its job right now defensively, standing up to the test of these big Montclair hitters. Just now need to get on the attack themselves, get it back to a car.
Back and forth here. Roll over the top. Traska keeps it alive. Batista strikes. One hand saved by a car. Just too far. So now the Redhawks have a 2-point lead. I want to see if they can get momentum here and pull away just a little bit. off the ceiling. And no problem for Newhouse. George switches it. And a car. Another player who's been solid, but again, at times really struggling to navigate where she's hitting it.
It stinks because the first swing during that rally did a great job and probably should have gotten a kill for it. Instead, nicely defended. Second one goes out.
Batista. And miscommunication there. Palin had it. I think her own teammate Katie Bishop scared her. She backed off the ball. Timeout from Ramapo. 15-11, the largest lead Montclair State has in set number 2. And CJ, I think Ramapo was in it the whole time, but the last couple of points have been unfortunate.
Yeah, you're right. Now 15-11 and starting to get a little bit away from them as they have to call a timeout. It was the freshman and the senior that collided there to prompt Coach Quinta to burn his first timeout here in the second set. You just start to see that youth poke through a little bit at times. And whereas Montclair State feels like now halfway into this season that a lot of their players really understand the system, understand what's going on. And today in particular, they've kept their hands clean. Not a lot of errors to go around, particularly here in this second set. But it's been things like that. And even beyond just the hitting errors that we've seen from Ramapo, it's been miscommunications like that, not getting into your formation the right way, having aces against you. A lot of those things really start to swing the favor in the other direction. They've been very, very promising today, but a few things that they've got to clean up if they want to stay in these sets and ultimately win a couple of their own.
We'll see what they talked about and discussed off the timeout, if we can see a difference in production on the court.
Still just 2 service errors here for Montclair State so far today.
Newhouse resumes action here in set number 2. Tepele tries to keep it alive. A collision from the Roadrunners doesn't stop them from saving the play. Cornelius cross court. Batista in the air. Dug out. Cross court again. Good communication from Montclair State. Diving Muse keeps it alive. And another attack from Ramapo. A collision. Now Cornelius over the top. We're still alive here. Roll saves it. We have another rally on our hands, CJ. George switches over the top. Redhawks really organized, but so are the Roadrunners. Batista, diving save from Paolo Lawachi. Cornelius to Batista. Nobody could get it down, and everybody playing amazing defense. And that time, I think Ricard just got a little fatigued on the play.
To me right now, I'm just seeing chaos versus controlled chaos. We've had some crazy rallies, some terrific digs from either side, and you saw both sides with a terrific effort over that last rally. But for Montclair State, they find a way to get back into form and to get set up and to attack it the way that they want to each time around. For Ramapo, it's almost like they're punting back to the Redhawks to try and make something happen. Early on in that rally, we saw a couple of different diving saves. But more often than not, yeah, the collision as well. That was a scary, and thankfully everybody's okay. But more often than not, toward the end of that, it was Ramapo who was scrambling to try to keep it alive. Redhawks calm and composed.
I think that's one of the hardest ideas of the sport. You're really multitasking. You're watching the ball, but you also have to be very mindful of where you are. And we've seen plenty today of miscommunications, and you could really run into a teammate as hard as anything.
Yeah, I think it was Traska and Muse early on into that rally too. Still popped up to make the rest of it.
They actually pretty much hit the brakes like halfway, which pretty much saved the collision, although they still ran into each other. 18-11, Redhawks lead. Now it's their largest lead of the day at any point. Maybe Coach Stawinski has the group out there that could do it now. Jasmine Roll. Ramapo still on the defensive front, that is for sure. Cornelius behind. Thomas over the top. Bishop sets up Palin. Batista tries it again. Now Ramapo more organized. Traska digs it out. Newhouse. Batista's been getting a lot of action on the left side. And that time, the Redhawks finally get the hard-earned point.
Well, there's no mistake about what the Redhawks do. There's no secret with what they're doing. They are just going right at the Roadrunners and forcing them back on their heels so that they can't return it with the same type of power. You're going to see another timeout to try and fix what they're doing, but Montclair State is just getting set up, getting it over to, in the beginning of the set, it was Muse. Lately, it's been Bautista over on this near side, and just try and overpower the Roadrunners.
Batista's been on a roll, CJ. 8 kills, 3 aces, which leads the team today. And then also very solid defensively, 3 digs and 11 points to her name. Leading everybody on the court, including the Ramapo Roadrunners. And I think a well-needed timeout really for both teams. Just a breather to sit down, recoup, really think about the last couple points, because it has been nonstop out there. Insane.
Yeah, these last couple of points, there's been some long ones from either side. And the most frustrating part, as you see Ramapo burns its final timeout of the set, is that they can't seem to come out on the right end of those. And these are points when they go and they take a long time. You see the terrific effort from either side, the rally, the diving stops. That could go either way, those points. And right now it just feels like they're on the wrong side of these results, which has led this to somehow become an 8-point lead. It was 11-11, 8 in a row ripped off here from Montclair State.
54 total digs. And we're not even through set number 2. I'm no volleyball expert, but that is not too normal for this early. Maybe for a full match, but sometimes not even.
We've had a couple of marathons.
A nice diving save there from Emma Garcia. Although the Redhawks will still be awarded the point at the end of the day. So now 5 points away from going up 2-0 on the night.
It feels like the Roadrunners cover every inch of this court, but just too many touches there. They haven't been able to set themselves up the right way.
And you see it there once again. The effort is there. Again, Emma Garcia now diving 2 plays in a row to keep the ball in play. Although, to your point, you're right. It seems like the Ramapo's been on their heels as of late. Just full defensive mode. Although they have been organized. Cameron Newstair digs. Nice save from Newhouse. Batista goes for it again. And Emma Garcia, I got to give it to her. 3 attempts, and she hasn't been able to keep it alive in any of them, although she's putting an effort out there.
Yeah, it's not really a disservice to what she's done, because those have been some very, very difficult balls to keep in the air. Montclair State just finding where Ramapo's not on that last point.
And finally, Ramapo grabbing a point back in a crazy Montclair State run. 22-12. A lot of work to be done in set number 2. I mean, they need the set. They need to take the set and even up the series here. Otherwise,
yeah, but
gotta win 3 straight.
Giving up 11 straight makes it very tough.
And the Redhawks not ready to give up just yet. Traska wants to win set number 2. You see Cornelius there. They're going to call violation. So Ramapo will be handed a point on that time.
I don't know if that was a carry on the way over from Cornelius, as she once again tried to sneak one past the Roadrunners. The fake set.
That one just dribbles on top of the net and remains in play. Now Montclair State look a little more defensive. And a miss hit there from Valentina Palin.
iPad goes down on the far side.
I was always wondering when that technology was going to get hit. It was bound to happen. It really never happens.
Hopefully they got a good screen protector there. That's a long way down.
(23-13). And that time, Ramapo finding the open gap in the court. Asiya Akar with the kill.
And while they may not win this set here, it would take the run of a lifetime. It's all about getting organized and getting back into that rhythm that we saw them in for much of that first set and beginning of the second as well.
Another point there, kill by Bryn Batista, but last couple points, it's really been the defensive efforts of Emma Hatcher with the original first dig, which ends up having Montclair earn the points. It takes a while, but Emma Hatcher really keeps the play alive, and we saw her there. I think 2 out of the last 3 points now. She's been on point on defense. 1 point away from Montclair taking set number 2. Hatcher sets, Muse fires, and that one will trickle out of play. So another dominant set, 25-14. The Redhawks are rolling, and the Ramapo Roadrunners now need to win the next 3 sets and have to push it to 5 if they want to win tonight.
The synergy in this Montclair State group this evening has just been terrific. It feels like no matter where they are on the floor, the ball's getting into the hands of the right people. And some mixture of either Emma Hatcher, Lucy Cornelius, Bryn Batista, Cameron Muse, feels like they're getting their hands on it every single time around, particularly Hatcher and Cornelius. We saw it the other way around on set point, where it was Cornelius first and then Hatcher with the assist, but they've done an awesome job of just setting up the way that they've wanted to today. They've received maybe the most excellent performance receiving that we've seen from them all season to this point, at least in this building, and that makes everything flow so much easier. You know, when you look at a team like Ramapo on the other side, they've got some big hitters, but it feels like since the first set, we haven't seen them be able to get back to a Carr as much or Palin as much. Whereas we've seen Bryn Batista now 28 total attacks. Cameron Muse has 14 attacks. That all comes from setting it up beforehand with the receive, the hands of Hatcher and then Cornelius.
Yeah, those are great points, and I totally agree. Ramapo's production on offense just went out the window, and they really, in set number 2, all they did was defend. A couple times they got lucky with a few points here and there, but the entire time it felt like, although they were saving the ball and finding digs and eventually getting it over, they were always one step behind to the play. The Redhawks are always set for the most part. Again, a couple dives, not many though. Ramapo, everybody was off their feet every single time.
100%.
Diving, one hand save. How many times did that happen? I lost count.
100%, and they weren't getting setting into their one. You kept using that word organized with Montclair State, and I love that, because that's really what it was for them. And on the other side, it was a little bit disorganized from Ramapo, getting out of position and having to dive for those balls. Ultimately, it hurts because as great of a dig it is, you know, to keep it alive, it gets a cheer, it gets a rise out of your bench, out of your teammates, out of your fans. It doesn't get you to where you want to be on the offensive attack on the other side of things. And in an ideal scenario, balls hit right to them. Instead, just a little bit out of position. Montclair State, first of all, you have to give the Redhawks credit as well, because they're finding those openings as the sets progress. They've sort of picked apart what Ramapo's attempted to do defensively.
And again, just being behind on the play and just playing defense, you're never going to be caught up to play offense. That's where Ramapo really struggled. So 25-19 win for Montclair in set number 1, and 25-14 in set number 2. We'll see what set number 3 has in store for us. Can Montclair State get to sweep on an incredible Ramapo Roadrunners team?
That would go a long way for a Ramapo team that has had a lot of talk in their direction this season. Last year was the retool year, the reset year, coming off of the NJAC championship, but now they're trying to get back to their ways, and this year was sort of seen as the comeback, as a year where they can make it to the playoffs, where they can make some noise. Montclair State, they're going against a quality opponent today, and they've made it look easy so far. And
these are two teams we agreed on in the pregame that these teams were pretty much on par, record-wise, individual talent-wise. Both two youthful squads, really, with a lot of young players getting the majority of the minutes on the court. As Ramapo that time grabs the first point, which they have done in all 3 sets, but it hasn't resorted into anything at the end of the day.
No, not yet, and we'll see what they're made of here now, down 2-0. This shows a lot about a team's mental space. It shows a lot about their aggression and their willingness to continue to play when from behind. And even though they may not win this, like I said, it's about carrying those positives. They're getting into the thick of it here in their NJAC schedule.
And that time, a service error from Katie Bishop, and she took full accountability for it. We saw Ramapo go up 2-0 last set, and the Redhawks just rolled and tied it quickly. We'll see if they could do that now. Bishop in the air. Akar fires and gets the point. Ramapo Roadrunners 3-1 lead here in set number 3.
I like the start. It seems like there's a little bit more energy off the bench. And Ramapo getting to the looks that they would like with Akar.
That time, a rare Emma Hatcher missed dig as it goes out of play into the crowd. So 4-1 Ramapo. I mean, this is the best possible start they could have had to set number 3, really.
Absolutely. We'll see. Another point there. We'll see what they're made of here in this set. And those 3 minutes or so in between sets, we spent a lot of it sort of talking your ear off, but what goes on in those huddles is quick adjustments and messaging that needs to come through in the next 3 minutes. It wasn't enough throughout the second set, those mid-set adjustments, and that's what it's all about. Ramapo's come out strong now, I feel like, both in the second and the third. They've got to keep it up now.
The Profio that time with the point. And it looks like, just slightly, Akar took a shot to her elbow, and she's holding it as she checks out. I think the Profio got her good right there on the spike.
That's no good.
Maybe an already injured elbow, not quite sure.
It doesn't seem like she's receiving attention on the bench.
Just a little bit of a sting maybe, and just quick break. Hopefully she's okay. 5-3 Ramapo Roadrunners lead, and now, at least for the time being, they're going to do it for a bit without one of their top players. That time, the luck goes back to the Redhawks. Hits the top of the net, just rolls over. And you see Emma Hatcher there with a big smile as she earns the point.
That's always the game. How low can I get this serve and still keep it above the net? Hatcher might have been about as close as it gets the redirection off the net too.
It's a risky game to play.
Ultimately gets the point. And I think, so this timeout going to be taken here by Ramapo, 5-4. I'm wondering, Luke, if this is to get Akar the time that she needs, the care that she needs for her elbow, and see if she can come back in. You don't see a timeout this early on in a set when you're leading.
Could be. That really could be the move. And I think for Ramapo, you do want your top player tonight, and top player overall, really. 9 kills on the night. Leads her team by far. The only player that's really competing with Cameron Muse and Bryn Batista on the other side.
So 4-1 with her. She has to come off, and since then it's been 3-1 Montclair State. I think that's could be something behind that for the timeout, and we'll see if she's back in. It actually does not appear as though she is.
She's still holding her elbow on the far right side of the bench.
Huh.
That's why I'm thinking maybe there's some initial pain coming into today, is what I'm thinking. But who knows? We're zooming in off the timeout. Ramapo are going to have to step it up now without their top player. Melik over the top. Cornelia saves. Sets up Cameron Muse. Dug out by Garcia. Bishop keeps it alive, and it goes out of play. Got to give it to Emma Garcia. She's been amazing defensively.
Yeah, she certainly has been, keeping it alive there for Ramapo, but frustrating for them to not be able to take advantage of that. That's the side of 4 that Akar was on earlier. Got to see if they can get it now to the near side with Palin.
Another last-second Ramapo dig. Wow. Sophia DeProfio and Brianna Craig at the net. I have never seen it ricochet like that.
And off the hand of Palin, that exploded, but a big block, and that one was flush. Came right back in her direction.
Ramapo, again, just kind of like I said before, just full defensive mode. That time, they meet Cameron Muse at the net. They needed that point badly. And really, the biggest fear happened recently. Off the timeout, Ramapo lose the lead that they once had.
And the only other thing I can think is they started sensing that the Redhawks were getting that momentum, and that's why the timeout came through. If not to get Akar healed up and back into the game, that must have been what it was, but they haven't been able to quell this run.
Muse saves. And you see, I don't know if you saw that, Coach Slawinski's like, let it go. He told Emma Hatcher, we don't want anybody getting hurt.
Yeah, he went running toward the far bleachers. Thought he might have to be hanging on to her as she went flying in. With your senior libero, you know what you're getting as far as effort. I think if you told her to run down to Sprague Field to keep a ball alive, she would do it.
I think so. And that's what, she's a competitor, that is for sure. And another service error for Ramapo. It's going to be their 7th of the night. Very rough.
They've done a good job of limiting those, but you look for the day, and that's number 7. Redhawks still have just 2. Think about this time last set. I commended the Redhawks for only having 2. Now here we are in the 3rd.
Melik in the air, met at the net by Craig. Now Muse resets. Hatcher will have the safety tip over the top. And too far. Amazing instincts there from Traska. Just knew it was out, and she let it go right over her head.
Now's a time where Ramapo would love to have a car on the floor. Right now it's Brianna Craig and Lucy Cornelius providing the blocking, but you don't have Lily Thomas out there. You don't have Sophia DeProfio out there. It would be a good time to let your hitters work.
Nice dig there from Emily Tapale. Craig is met at the net, but the Redhawks get the point. 10-6 in set number 3. If you're just joining us late, the Redhawks have a 2-0 lead, taking the first 2 sets in tonight's match. And a lot of sloppy play off the dig attempt into the head of Jasmine Roll. That's her height will not play in your favor.
Yeah, they're going to have to take another timeout here. We've gotten to that point where it just feels like these mistakes are starting to avalanche for Ramapo, and to end it off, a really, really frustrating mishap. They've got to get it figured out in a hurry.
A rough run. Where were we when they took the last time out? It was 4-3 Ramapo, I believe?
Yeah, 5-4, 4-3, something along those lines. And since then, it's been all Montclair State. They haven't been able to find that flow that they were in to begin. And obviously, things change a little bit when you lose one of your hitters and they have to come off the floor, but still not a good run here. And Montclair State not even really impressing all that much here at the net with their attacks. It's more so just been playing the game of who makes the first mistake, and it's come at the hands of Ramapo.
And we mentioned it before, but got to give the credit on offense to Lucy Cornelius. 17 assists. I mean, that's what she is best at doing, but today has really just done a great job. Also on the other side, though, matching her energy, Katie Bishop was 17 as well. So a lot of players really contributing today, especially for Montclair State. And of course, Lucy Cornelius letting the offense run through her. Cameron Muse that time adds another point right off the stoppage. Double Ramapo's points, 12-6. What does Ramapo have to do to get back into this one, CJ?
Settle down. It's got to start there. As much as we want to talk about what they can do strategically at the net or matchups that they can play, things that they can take advantage of, they've got to stop hurting themselves first. There's a better receive.
And that time, a well-executed play from the Roadrunners. We haven't seen that type of overall play in a minute, as Jasmine Roll is finally starting to catch her groove here on offense. You said it, CJ. Perfect dig, nice set, and then Roll put it down.
They've got to get it to Jasmine Roll. They've got the size advantage on the court right now. I mentioned it a couple of points ago before the timeout. I don't see anybody who can stand up at the net with Roll right now.
Another dig there from Cosme. And Ramapo showing some life now, 13-8.
Yeah, and Palin not even getting all of that ball, but enough off the fingertips to get over that blockade of Redhawks. Here's the run that they wanted out of the timeout. Stack 1 point at a time.
Palawachi on the serve. Craig hits it over. Bishop sets. And that time Hatcher couldn't use her one hand to dig it out. Nice run from the Roadrunners now.
when they get Palin going, she plays so much taller than that 5'7" frame. It's all about timing and setting that up. Since the first set, we haven't seen a ton of her attacks, but now up to 7 kills.
Cornelius sets it up. Brianna Craig just gets the kill off. The Redhawks needed that one just to kind of knock down the Roadrunners' momentum, because they've looked solid on attack.
And the Redhawks haven't even used a ton of Brianna Craig today. That's her 7th attack.
Hatcher keeps it alive. Cornelius will switch to Batista. Hatcher will reset again. Batista to Cornelius. And that one is somehow saved, although it's off the net at the end of it. Another Redhawk point.
And Paolachi nearly put that over from on the ground. Just a left-handed bat at the ball. As we've said all day, great effort. Not seeing the results from it.
Batista was able to block at the net. Now the Redhawks will go up with it. Cornelius and Craig couldn't play the defense that time. Well, Ramapo's been doing a little better in set number 3. They've really showed some life on offense, which is something we were not seeing at all in set number 2. And they keep that one alive, as Coach Stawinski's protesting that double touch, although the Redhawks at the end of the day do get the point.
I thought it may have been a double touch as well. It was difficult. We saw a lot of bodies falling toward the floor off the surprise attack from Cornelius. Good job to, once again, surprise Ramapo. They continue to stray from expectation of what Ramapo thinks Montclair is going to do.
16-11. A very competitive set number 3. Kind of reminds me of what we saw a little bit in set number 1.
Just needing that big run now.
Muse, once again. Kill number 9 to her name.
That's just pitch and catch. Control it, set it up, let your All-American do the rest.
That time a very rough error. Valentina Palin and Ramapo. Redhawks now could almost feel that sweep victory as they get a little bit closer. Batista keeps it alive. Hatcher finds Batista again. Thomas resets. It's going to be a battle at the net. Cornelius was ready for it. And just hit over by Riley Sherman. It's the first time I've seen Riley Sherman play in person. Another player from Washington State in her freshman season, getting some minutes.
I'm sure she and Lucy Cornelius at least have some familiarity with one another. If not prior to Montclair State, they've gotten to know one another in this freshman class, being able to bond, coming all the way over from Washington State, Pacific Northwest.
Maybe a flight home together for breaks or something. Who knows? A little travel buddy. 18-13.
That makes it easier.
Right. Talk about it all the time. All these Redhawks really come from different places. Florida, Washington, a lot of players in previous years from Georgia, California, really all around the United States, which is awesome. Batista that time right into the net. Maybe a slight tip from Ramapo, but the majority of it went short.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever got there. Batista trying to end off a strong performance here today. As Ramapo's gotten back into this set, we have seen fresh faces like with Sherman, but still keeping the big hitters in the game too with Muse and Batista.
Nice kill there from Lily Thomas. 19-14, 6 points away until Montclair could officially call it a sweep. Back into the match, Sammy Misak. Misak from Florida on the serve. Keeps it alive. Cornelius will set up Thomas. And Ramapo couldn't keep it in, off the hands of Katie Bishop. Misak on the serve again. Ramapo on their heels, playing defense. Somehow keep it alive. Now Lily Thomas will work with Cornelius. Cameron Muse hits.
This is clockwork right now from Montclair State. You serve it well, you get it back and receive it well, you set it up.
That one short off the front of the net from Misak. Her first service error of the night. Still smiles all around from Montclair State.
And you'll see that even when they're down 2-0.
Talked to Coach Stawinski on the radio a couple weeks ago in the Montclair Athletic Show, and I asked him, I said, the vibe around the team is just always positive. And I asked him about it, and he said his players are one big happy family, and they act like it on the court. I mean, even when they concede a point, they're still smiling and laughing, and looks like everybody's one big group.
You see the bench, I think, just did the wee bowling celebration for a strike. So important to stay together as the season goes on, and they've got some celebrations too.
Now Ramapo having their fair share of celebrations the last few times. 22-16, a lot of work left to be done though, as they can only allow 2 more points from Montclair State unless they plan on tying this one up. Alyssa Edmond on the serve. Hatcher in the air. Cornelius switches. Craig strikes. And another kill for Brianna Craig.
I'm telling you, in the big matches this season, Brianna Craig might just be the X factor, plugging up the middle. They get a huge transfer in from Westchester with her, and a ton of years of experience. You get 3 more years of eligibility as well. That was a big get, and they're going to need her down the stretch.
23-16. Roll strikes. And the Redhawks on defense. I see Brianna Craig, a little bit of a dance afterwards.
I think that was the LeBron, actually. The
match point now.
You know the celebration.
I do. Melik over the top. Hatcher, her hand flat on the ground, keeps the play alive. And the Roadrunners are saving it. Hatcher with another dive. And that is how the day will end. Montclair State with a clean sweep. Emma Hatcher showing off her defensive skills to end the match. 25-16, and the Redhawks assert their dominance.
What a performance, and what a statement. This is a Montclair State team that I think has been underestimated a little bit, just based on the way that they've played in the NJAC against some of the top opponents. But this is a really tough conference to win volleyball matches in, and when you can do it and make it look that easy, any win is a big one, especially against a surging Ramapo team.
Another huge win. It is Montclair's 5th sweep of the season. Of course, though, doing it against Ramapo in conference play sends a huge message to the remaining teams all around conference play. For Montclair State, up next, Rutgers Newark this Thursday in Newark, New Jersey. And for the Ramapo Roadrunners, they play Kane University in the Dig Pink game, which I assume is raising money for breast cancer awareness, month of October, of course. But CJ, what did you see in today's match? I mean, what was your main takeaway?
Yeah, well, I saw Montclair State, a team that was able to get to their looks as they pleased, really. They set it up. Emma Hatcher had maybe one of her best games of the entire season today with receiving, and you saw that hard-earned point to finish it off. Glad she was able to get some recognition there as they let that ball go, and it ended up dropping in for the win. But Montclair State keeping their foot on the gas as well. You get that first set. Ramapo, a lot of errors to get you there, but then you continue to keep your foot on the gas and make sure that you win the game that you're supposed to win. You've got a reeling Ramapo team, a lot of errors, a lot of mistakes that they can carry on into the next one. Obviously, a little bit frustrating for them. I think they're capable of playing better volleyball than that, but well done from Montclair State to take advantage of the mistakes. They may never lose at home again.
I don't think so. I was just going to say, Montclair State moved to 20-4 overall, 13-0 at home, and I can't believe it. All season I've been waiting. It's like, are they going to lose? I don't think they are, CJ, and you were right. Ramapo moving to 15-6 overall, and now 3-2 in the NJAC play. We appreciate you spending your Tuesday night here on the Red Hawk Sports Network from Panzer Athletic Center. Luke Sirianni and CJ Staniak, we appreciate you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.